The Stop Drop Gaming F1 show is brought to you by Stop Drop Gaming's F1 2014 Sunday Night Leagues for Xbox 360 and soon F1 2015 on Xbox One. Visit stopdropgaming.com today to sign up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You join us for the Stop Drop Gaming Forum F1 show. I'm your host, Ollie, and with us tonight we have Callum. Hello, Callum.
Hello.
We have EJ. Hi, EJ.
Hi.
Neil. Hello, Neil.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
He's a new guest tonight, a special guest.
And
we have Steve as well.
Good evening. Hello.
This weekend saw a very entertaining Monaco Grand Prix. The first subject for discussion is the big cock-up by Mercedes on bringing Hamilton in for a pit stop after Max Verstappen crashed. What were your thoughts about this, Callum?
Well, it was slightly humiliating, really. The second pit stop strategy error of the season, and in a way, you have to feel for Lewis Hamilton whether you're a fan of him or not, because it was kind of disgraceful in the way that they did what they did. You can understand why they pitted him, because you would have done, but to be 3.5 seconds wrong in your calculations is pretty bad, especially for a team like Mercedes.
Absolutely. As you say, I'm not a Hamilton fan in the slightest, but I did feel for him a lot in the race because he was far and away the fastest. I think he even said in one of his interviews that he was during the race he was thinking about Ayrton Senna and how Ayrton Senna was ridiculous time ahead of P2, and he crashed. That he was conscious of that in his head.
In a way, this was a similar mistake. In a way,
it was. Yeah. How did you feel about it, EJ?
I think it was a bad idea, so I have to agree with Callum. The Mercedes just fucked up big time.
The cynic in me almost thinks that maybe Mercedes did it on purpose, so they could, so Nico Rosberg could match the 3 wins of Ayrton Senna. What's your thoughts on that, Steve? Am I being too cynical?
It's a controversial statement to make there, my friend. A very controversial statement. I would be lying if I said the same thought hadn't crossed my mind. Usual thing when a safety car comes out, first thing that goes across your mind is, can I get a set of fresh tyres? Everyone going to do it. I have to believe that they say Hamilton made the call to start with. Were I in his shoes, I'd probably do the same. Guys, do I want new tyres or not? But that's probably as far as it goes. Colossal cock up from Mercedes. I mean, the amount of information they've got on that pit wall to get it so badly wrong. And the thing is they must have known, because they didn't pit Rosberg. So they must have realised the moment they did it, hang on a minute, this isn't quite right. So I mean, why didn't they shout to not pit for him? Is very difficult, very, very difficult subject. Obviously, being a Lewis fan myself, is a difficult pill to swallow. And I thank everyone, even if you're not a Hamilton fan, for accepting the fact that he did drive a brilliant race. He said he could have gone much faster. He chose not to preserve the car, and it cost him at the end. It really did. One hopes that when he bounces back in the next race, he will just obliterate the field. Well, that's my hope, at least, anyway.
I mean, the most stupid thing about the whole situation was that at the beginning of the race, they said the soft tyres could do the entire race, no worries whatsoever. He was on the soft tyres. He had no reason to pit. He could have done that race, without having to make any sort of tyre. It's not like the tyres were having issues. None of the tyres had issues. There was no reason to bring him in. He could have done that whole race on that same set of tyres.
Well, there was a reason to bring him in. The reason to bring him in was the temperature in the tyres had dipped sufficiently that they thought it wouldn't have enough grip and they'd slide off the road. The reason for moving to the super softs was to get that instant grip because they had enough laps to complete the race. That's where the decision originated from. I think both Rosberg and Vettel alluded to the fact that the first 2 or 3 laps after the safety car were tricky. They could have slid off. That's what they were trying to guard against. Still a bloody stupid decision, in my opinion, but there we go.
Track position is always king at Monaco. I think that was the important thing. I think they just forgot that almost, didn't they, when they brought him in for a pit stop.
Yep.
Anyway, in the lead up to this this big cock up was a quite severe crash by it's quite spectacular actually. Max Verstappen's crash. Let's go to EJ first. What were your thoughts? We were right on. They had the in-car camera on as it happened live, so it was quite exciting. A crash from some people's point of view. How do you feel about it, EJ?
It was a bloody Lotus. He braked too early. He moved to the side, and
Yeah.
Verstappen couldn't go nowhere.
Grosjean
according-
braked later on that lap than he had the previous lap.
Yeah, and wasn't it done by the stewards that he actually braked him around the same point? He didn't brake earlier than he did the last lap, so that's why they didn't give him a. They actually gave Max the penalty, didn't they?
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
2 penalty points, I believe. I think it just came down from lack of experience on Max Verstappen's part. It's his first race around Monaco. He's never raced around that track before, and he obviously just didn't expect there to be so little room on that right side as he went into that corner. So whether Grosjean broke early or not.
You have to give it to Max though. He raced a fantastic race, 17. Overtaking cars or in Monaco. I mean, the when he was following Vettel round, that was fantastic.
It was really clever thinking as well.
Oh, that was brilliant.
I feel really sorry for Max. I really do. I think EJ alluded to the fact that Grosjean may have braked in the same point or slightly later than the previous lap, but he moved across. And I defy anyone in the same conditions, irrespective of age, to have avoided that incident. You just haven't got the time to react. And when we were on board, and you could see Grosjean jink to the right, he knew that Verstappen was going to move to the inside. He went to cover. I swear, Grosjean went to cover, and that's, I believe, what caused the incident. The fact that Verstappen didn't have time to react, and essentially is the car coming from behind, I think that's why he's got the penalty, because incidentally he did cause the incident by creating the collision, but I don't think Grosjean helped himself there, and I'm pretty certain that Mark Webber will attain to the fact as well. Grosjean's got a habit of doing that. I'm not saying that it's all Grosjean's fault. It's quite clearly it was an avoidable incident, but I don't think it was all Max Verstappen's fault.
I'll go with that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
totally
think
agree
it
with
was
that. Yeah.
sort of 50-50, wasn't it?
I think it was 50-50, but because it's the same as in the real world, because you're the person behind. If you didn't stop in time, it's your fault, sort of thing. And I think that's what sort of the stewards went on, and the fact that Grosjean broke either later or on his same, breaking point as he broke the lap before. So, it's one of those things, but you can't take away from Max. He did a fantastic job. It was a fantastic race on his part, and it's a shame he didn't get any points.
I think we all agree if we were running insurance that we'd quite happily give Max Verstappen a policy, but we certainly wouldn't give Maldonado one.
Absolutely. Moving on, Monaco GP has become a bit of apart from this weekend, a bit of a bore fest lately. It's still, I think in everyone's hearts, it's still their favourite Grand Prix, but it's becoming a bit of a parade every year with the widening of cars and the being much more difficult to overtake around the track. Neil, what do you think about including the Monaco Grand Prix next year?
It wouldn't be a Grand Prix season without Monaco.
No.
So there's no two ways about it.
Steve, what are your opinions?
Although it pains me to say it, it took 60 laps for something to happen at the Monaco Grand Prix, and in any other track, in any other conditions, and I'll come back to Hamilton here, a car coming out on a set of fresh super softs with worn softs in front, he would have gone straight past him. Was it Canadian Grand Prix a couple of years ago? That's exactly what happened. Was it Alonso and Vettel stayed out, and Hamilton pitted in for fresh tyres, and then just absolutely straight past him? I think the nostalgia for the Monaco Grand Prix is there. Everyone loves the idea of it. You're enclosed. It's a real track that tests the driver. However, in this modern day where the emphasis is being put on the fan and the spectacle, the question I feel has to be asked, for the first 60 laps, was it a spectacle for the fan? And I'd say after the novelty of watching a Formula One car go around the track a couple of times, probably not. As a true fan, I will sit there and watch it. But how many more like me are going to be out there?
So I watch it
I don't know. I mean, I know what you mean. I mean, it's very much a parade more than a race in a lot of ways. But is that due more to the track, or is that due more to the fact that these cars don't do well, or no Formula One cars ever done well in following another Formula One car?
Well, they know it though because they've tried massively, desperately to widen the track. I mean, they edited the or amended the exit the swimming pool, did they not?
Yeah, they pushed the barriers back, didn't they?
Yeah. So what did every driver do? They cut the inside curb as much as they possibly could. In fact, I think Rosberg did it to the limit of track extending. Track extending at Monaco. I mean, come on. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So they're clearly aware of the issue, and they're doing. In all fairness to the organisers, it would appear that they're doing everything they possibly can to stay on the calendar. But if you're a traditional or a historic track, they've got the what?
The money.
Well, there's that as well. I mean, again, is that the right thing though? Should a track be on the calendar because they pay their way in, or should it be there for the fans?
Well, I think F1 is all about money at the moment. They can't put those spectacles on without the money, and if their track is paying to be in it, then it has to continue to be in it. And we had this discussion about pay drivers a few weeks ago, I think, didn't we?
Well, yeah, and that's another frustration, isn't it? Is you're going to put a testing car on a testing track with a driver that's got limited ability. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at the stats now for the last, how many races have we done? 5 races, and how many overtakes there actually were. So in Malaysia there was 67, Chinese there's doing 29 overtakes, Bahrain there was 43 overtakes, Spanish there was 28 overtakes, and in Monaco there was only 10.
And a lot of overtakes in Monaco were for Verstappen.
It rewards you a lot more.
Yeah,
it does. Anyway, moving on from quite nicely from inexperienced drivers driving around Monaco to very experienced drivers. Button picked up the first points for McLaren this season with an 8th place finish at Monaco.
Go Button!
I was really pleased for this. I don't think it's going to last, but it was nice to see Button pick up some points. EJ, did you think they were deserved points, or do you think this is just going to be a flash in the pan for McLaren?
I think it's going to be a flash in the pan because this isn't about horsepower. This is more about the driver and which place you are on the track. Yeah,
I think the McLaren car is good. It's just that engine is terrible. How did you feel about it, Steve?
No, you're all talking out your arse. They're going to score in Canada. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You've got to. How can you say that you're a Jenson Button fan, Ollie, and not have faith that they're not going to now go on? I think the upgrades are coming for Canada, is it not? So I think that it's going to happen.
Yeah, but they won't get 70 to 100 horsepower more. So I won't get any points.
The Canadian Grand Prix is so unpredictable. I'm going to put money on Button scoring. I'm going to do that now.
Canadian Grand Prix is so predictable. You might as well put a bet on him to get on the podium.
I'm not that stupid.
As a veteran of the Canadian Grand Prix, I can tell you that main straight is very long, and you need a lot of horsepower to get down it.
Yeah, no, the Honda engine just won't have the power to make any indent in Canada, unfortunately. Button will be lucky to score a point. If he does, I'll be very happy for him. It'll be fantastic, but he's going to do well on tracks that don't require the horsepower. And unfortunately, after Monaco, trying to think of another circuit that would suit that car. Singapore, yeah, it's probably going to be the next one. Where it's tight, windy, and doesn't require a huge amount of horsepower.
All I'm going to say to you is watch back the Spanish Grand Prix at that Honda down the back straight when it was following someone. Didn't give too much away. Yes, it was slightly slower, but when you're following in a pack, I think that there's scope for them to score at Canada. I do. I think they'll nick it. I think they'll nick a point.
Yeah, Alonso will put them for 10th place.
I think if there's retirements in the front pack, yeah, sure. I I can't see him winning an outright race without retirements.
Might rain, that'll help him.
Oh, Canada, Button, rain. Yeah, I
Canada
could
is
see that.
notorious for rain.
I could see Button doing something with rain. Wasn't he dropped to the back of the pack at one point and then came all the way back to win?
You know, you've just let the open the can of worms there, because now Ollie's just going to remind us of the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix.
It was
It's
a
not
fantastic
going to happen
Grand
again.
Prix.
It's not going to happen again,
Shall I
Ollie.
also
Best
remind you
race
of the
in
fact
Formula
that-
One.
Absolutely. Shall I also remind you of the fact that I was at the Canadian Grand Prix last year?
You were.
Was it?
I was.
Yeah, he was on a bit of grass, far removed from the circuit, and I was talking to him at the time, and he saw about 3 cars.
I was inches from the circuit, literally probably about 5 feet from the circuit.
Of course, there is a big fence that runs around the outskirts of the circuit, so there's a couple of inches was from that fence. Yes.
There's actually 2 fences that run down the outside of the circuit.
And you were
There's a
inches
couple
from
of
the
inches from the
second
second fence.
Yeah. But there's only a 3 or 4 foot gap in between the 2 fences.
Oh, brilliant!
And Jensen Button did wave to me when I shouted his name, so I was pleased with that. When
Of
they did the
course,
parade, not
yeah,
the-
he did. He said, there's Ollie, I have to wave.
Yeah, because I shouted like, Jensen, I'm from England, I've come to see you. And he turned around and waved to me.
Do you know, it'd be more believable, Ollie, if you turned around and said, "I know Jensen Button. He looked for me and waved to me."
Yes, well, Button might nick 10th if there's retirements and if there's rain. Apart from that, I don't see them picking up a point. Just bringing it back on topic.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to end. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening. If you're interested in joining us for the F1 show, you're welcome to. If you sign up on Stop Drop Gaming, you can also take part in our F1 leagues. We have Project Cars leagues starting. We also run Assetto Corsa leagues. If any of that interests you, check the forum out at stopdropgaming.com, and we look forward to seeing you on there. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Toodles.
See you later.
Did anyone see Van der God's tweet on Sunday? He said,
Seriously?
at least I've scored the same amount of points this season as Alonso.
Oh dear, that is a dickish comment, isn't it?